Well, I'm sure folks saw the news today that thanks to the Minnesota Republican majority, the U.S. economy grew by more than 200,000 jobs, and our unemployment rate is at historic lows for the last 4 years. That's very good news. This morning, the other news you probably know is that the governor announced his intention to make some changes with his supplemental budget, including the elimination of the business-to-business tax proposal. Our members have heard a great deal of concern about the B2B tax from their constituents and small business owners and others in their communities, and have conveyed those concerns to the governor. The proposal was never going to be part of Plan C in the House, based on the input that our members were receiving from their communities, and it's really refreshing to have a governor who is willing to work together and listen to the concerns of Minnesotans and legislators. I'd also know I think Senator Bach mentioned last week that he and I were going to meet with the business partnership this week, and we did. And we were pleased. The conversation, I think, went very well. We're pleased that the business partnership is interested and shares our goals of additional investments in education and in job creation, and understand that takes resources. They're business people. They understand how that works. They did describe and expressed great concern about the business-to-business, really kind of describing it as a freight train that would be carrying jobs out of the state of Minnesota. But significantly, compared to that, they also acknowledged that the proposed tax on high-income earners would really be nothing more than maybe a VW leaving the state every month or so. Not even a comparison in terms of magnitude. And it's nice that the business leaders are acknowledging that is in fact the case, because that's what we've seen in other states. So based on that discussion, and I think Governor Dayton's effort today to remove the business-to-business tax, I fully expect that business leaders who want these additional investments, know that they take resources, are going to get on board with the proposal as we move forward, and the proposal that Minnesotans want, which is a balanced approach to solving our budget deficit and making additional investments in Minnesota's future. And with that, I'll turn it over to Representative Murphy.
Good morning. It's snowy outside, but you can feel spring is approaching, and I think I can feel spring approaching mostly because we're coming up against committee deadlines. And so the House has continued to have another productive week as we're doing our work for Minnesota. We're really pleased that we made progress this week on the health insurance exchange. As the bill came off the floor of the Senate last night, we have significant differences between the House and the Senate, and next week a conference committee will be appointed, and those differences will be ironed out, and we're just really pleased to be moving forward with this significant piece of policy for Minnesota, and to put in place a Minnesota-led health care exchange, as has been our tradition. Our debate with the Republicans over the health insurance exchange is really a mirror of the debate that we're having on the state budget. And from our perspective, we can choose to move forward and lead for the state of Minnesota, or we can stay stuck in the status quo. And I don't think we should settle for that for Minnesota. Republicans have persisted with their embrace of the status quo, and we believe that is a failed course for the state of Minnesota, and we're going to continue to move forward with the budget as we are with the health insurance exchange. Representative Jay McNamer from the Morris area passed his first bill off the House floor yesterday, and it dealt with rural hospitals and diagnostic imaging. He's really another great example of a new member doing great work for the people of Minnesota, and he did a great job. It was a good bipartisan bill, and he didn't experience any hazing, which was sweet. Next week, on Tuesday, you will see us take up the marriage equality bill in civil law. We believe that will be a one-day hearing, or we know it's going to be a one-day hearing, and if passed, it will go to the general register, and it'll stay there until we've made significant progress on the budget. And we will not take that up again until we've dealt with our budget bills and got them off the floor and into conference, if it passes out of committee next week. And then I want to say that between now and committee deadlines, we're going to be mostly focused on committee work, trying to get as many of our member bills passed through the legislature. So we'll have some floor sessions, but I think that they will mostly be brief and focused on processing the work of the House and leaving our majority of our work in the committees next week. And I will ask Jeff to come up, and then time for questions. Thank you.
Good morning. The Senate this week, we obviously were all a little tired. We spent about 12 hours, a little over 12 hours on the floor. passing the health care exchange. It was a robust debate, a spirited debate, and one that we wanted to have. We think it was important that all voices were heard, and they were. Sometimes over and over and over, but we know that that's the way it works around here, and we think it's important. I would like to say that I know that in closing comments yesterday, there was a lot of comments about this being one-sided and not bipartisan. I will say of the amendments that were offered, and I don't know how many, but 14 of them we did take. So I'll say it again, 14 amendments that were offered by the GOP, we did take. I think Senator Lori did a yeoman's job at trying to present the bill in a way that shows that it's good for Minnesotans, that more Minnesotans will have coverage, and not only will they have coverage, but they have coverage that is going to be better than they've had today. So I want to applaud Senator Lori for all the great work that he's done. Now we will come together in conference committee. Our bill has some significant differences in the House bill, and we'll sit down and on Monday figure out who the conferees are going to be, and then bring those together and work as hard as we can to meet the federal deadline, March 31st. We want to congratulate our new regents this week. Also, our committees took action on the anti-bullying bill that went to judiciary, the home care, child care, collective bargaining bill, which also had a lot of spirited debate, is moving on to the Health and Housing Committee, and then we also started dealing with the minimum wage hike. I'll let Senator Sieben tell you kind of what we're thinking about next week. I will say, before I go, that on the governor's B2B, I know that Senator Bach and Speaker Thissen have been working with the business community directly, so I think that we are thinking deeply about what the next package is going to look like, what the governor's new budget is going to look like, and Senator Bach, Senator Cohen, and Senator Scully are working hard to come with something that we think is good for Minnesota. So, all right. Hopefully, I'm in state government as well, so hopefully it's not a vote there, and then we won't be here. So floor session, it's likely Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're just going to process paperwork and some bills in the House that are non-controversial. And then next week we will also do some committee work because of deadline on same-sex marriage, the child care, home care. We hopefully will start to, I know Senator Latz is putting his own package together to talk about firearms and how do we work that out. So that's what looks like it's coming forward in the Senate, and I think that's all we have.
One committee in each chamber on gay marriage?
You said Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
And when will the guns be up in the two chambers?
So I think it's going to be in the Senate on Tuesday as well on the marriage issue. Whoever asked that question, okay. And I'm not sure about the guns proposal yet.
Probably one day on gay marriage in the Senate.
Yeah, that's what it looks like too. It looks like it hasn't. I think Tuesday looks like the day. I don't know if it's been scheduled, but it looks like we'll do one day in judiciary as well.
And hold back on that. It won't proceed further until the budget passes. At the Senate's attitude as well.
We just want to get past our deadlines, and then we'll hold it and allow us to get our budget work done, and then we'll move forward.
Speaker Thissen, why did Governor Dayton give up the business-to-business tax, and do you think that's a good idea?
So, I think that he heard the same concerns that our representatives have been hearing, our members have been hearing about the impact that could have on Minnesota's economy and businesses here. And I imagine that that's the reason he did it, and I think it probably is the right direction, yes.
Mr. Speaker, the governor says that he's almost 100% certain that the entire sales tax component, not just the business-to-business, is off the table. Are you okay with, the discussion pending about the lowering the rate and everything of that nature?
I think we're going to have to see what the governor brings forward next Tuesday.
Is that a good idea?
I think we're going to have to see what the governor brings forward next Tuesday.
Are you expecting to have more input? In my understanding, there was some frustration from some members in both bodies that that the governor sort of proposed his proposal, which he said, this is kind of my best swing at it. Do you expect to be brought into this process more, or do you expect this one to be simply him alone again?
So, we're working on the kind of proposal. I don't know that he's going to, this is a significant change, and I think we can see the implications of of what that change is going to mean. But we're working right now on our budget proposals, working with the governor. I mean, he's been meeting with our chairs and other members in the various areas to kind of put together, to come up with some proposals moving forward about how we could get this budget passed. So there has been cooperation along the way, but now we're in the process of putting our budget together.
What are those implications you're talking about?
So, well, I think
You
I think
see
he also
them, so
no, I
share
think-
your vision with us.
No, I think he also mentioned already that the property tax rebate portion is, I mean, it's difficult to afford that.
Well, does the state need more revenues to fund some of the important programs that you think are should be passed this year? Education payback, education funding, health care, all of these things?
There is going to be additional revenue as part of this budget. I don't think anybody's ever had any illusion about that. And I think more importantly than that, what Minnesotans want are, and including the business community, are investments in education from early childhood to higher education and in job creation and additional property tax relief. And the budget that I imagine the governor is going to be putting forward and that we'll be putting forward are going to make those additional investments.
What did you counsel the governor? Did you tell him that he should remove B2B?
Our members have met with him on several occasions and advised him of what they were hearing from their constituents. He met yesterday with a group of our members, and I know that in that conversation they suggested that they were hearing from their business folks and other people in their community.
What about you? Did you counsel the governor personally to remove this?
No, I just expressed what I was hearing from my members.
Mr. Speaker, is it your perception that the governor's fourth-tier proposal is a done deal, and based on your conversations with business, did you say they're not going to be resisting that?
So I think that there will be a higher income tax as part of all the proposals on the richer, wealthier Minnesotans. And, you know, what the business people have been telling me at that meeting this week, but kind of for the last several months is, you know, the business to business is really bad, but we can live with the higher income tax. That's not really going to undermine Minnesota's economy, while more importantly, they know that we need to make investments in our workforce, in investments in education and job creation, and they understand that you can't do that without additional resources. So I expect that based on the conversations we've had for the last 2 months, they will be there to say we need to do a balanced package, which is what most Minnesotans want.
Would that be expanded, or would it be the same as previously proposed and is being heard in the House? The higher income tax, would that be different from what we already know?
Well, I think we're going to have to wait and see what the proposal is going to be.
Is there enough money to fund job creation, education, all of those programs?
Sure.
There is.
Mr. Speaker, did you say that the B2B stuff was never going to fly in the House at the beginning?
I don't know at the beginning, but as we're putting together our Plan C, that was likely not going to be part of our proposal.
What would you like to see this new?
What else is off the table?
That is the only piece that I would say that we would talk about right now.
Is alcohol on the table?
Well, higher income will be on the table.
Will alcohol be on the table?
I don't know.
Besides higher income, what would you, as Speaker, like to see in the new budget proposal?
What I would like to see is resources to make investments in education and in job creation and providing property tax relief.
So you don't care where the money comes from?
We're working on a number of alternatives.
The governor's proposal was out for 6 weeks. It got a lot of criticism. Democrats were being asked, sort of, how do you feel about it? And then all of a sudden the governor withdraws it. Do you feel like this exposes Democrats or makes you guys vulnerable moving forward? I mean, you're up for election in 2 years, and if this activates the business community against Democrats, are you concerned about that?
No, I think what it shows is that Democrats want to govern well and they want to listen to the people of Minnesota, and that is exactly what the governor just demonstrated.
Mr. Speaker, as it relates to the fourth tier, is there a rate you consider too high and an income floor you consider too low?
You know, the tax committee is working on all of those issues right now. I don't have a personal position on that particularly right now. I think there's a lot of considerations that need to go into that.
So if he releases the new budget next week, when do we see the House and Senate budgets?
We will see the targets probably the week, either at the end of next week or probably the next week following. So the week of that would end on the 22nd. So that would be starting on the 17th. Is that right? So that following week. And then you'll see, we have our third committee deadline, which is I think April 19th, and then so the 2 weeks leading up to that, different budgets will be passing through committee and to Ways and Means. So you'll see it kind of in the first 3 weeks of April when we return from the Easter break, in pieces. So you'll see some of the budgets earlier than others as they process through the system. All right, thank you.